Hey guys, how are you all? My name is Harshit Dwivedi and I welcome you back to my video. So in this video friends, we are going to talk about this Chittagong Armoury Raid that happened in 1930. This was led by Surya Sen. Surya Sen was actually a teacher and later he turned into a revolutionary. He was also known as Master Da, and I'm also going to discuss the role of other revolutionaries in this Chittagong Armoury Raid. This is a photo of a movie where you can see that the revolutionaries, after doing their task, they came to the hills and there they are celebrating. So this is presented by me, Harshit Dwivedi. Friends, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. The link of my Instagram profile is given in the description box below. Also friends, this video is in English, so if you want to watch the Hindi version of the Hindi version video link is also given in the description box below. Now moving forward, Chittagong Armoury Raid, also known as Chittagong Uprising, it was an attempt which was done on 18th of April 1930, friends. And actually it was an attempt to raid the armory of the police and also the auxiliary forces of the Chittagong Armoury in the Bengal Presidency, and this Chittagong lies in present day Bangladesh. Okay, you would have heard that many matches also occur in Chittagong Stadium if you are into cricket, friends. And this raid was led by Surya Sen. Surya Sen was also known as Master Da. Other people, other revolutionaries who were involved in this conspiracy were Ganesh Ghosh, Loknath Bal, Ambika Chaudhary, Hari Gopal Bal Tegra, Anantha Singh, Anand Prasad Gupta, Tripura Sen, विधु भूषण भट्टाचार्य, प्रीतिलता वादेदार, कल्पना दत्त, हिमांशु सेन, विनोद बिहारी चौधरी, सुबोध राय, मनोरंजन भट्टाचार्य. So these were the people who were involved in this Chittagong Armoury Raid. Now there were two main armories in Chittagong. Surya Sen plan was to capture both the army. And after capturing the armory, why were they capturing the armory? Because in the armory all the weapons are kept, bombs are kept, the jackets, the, you can say, dress material of the sepoys is their helmets are there, shoes are there, and all these type of things was there. Bulletproof jackets were there in that armory. So that armory was containing a lot of important weapons which could be of use to those freedom fighters. So that is why the first aim was to raid the armory. After that, the telegraph and telephone line need to be cut off, because if the telegraph lines are cut off, no telegraph wire can be sent to Calcutta for help. Similarly, no phone call can be done to Calcutta for help. Also, the railway lines were to be disrupted, because if the railway line will be disrupted, then obviously the connection between Calcutta and Chittagong will be cut off. And when no train would be running, how will be the backup forces come from Calcutta? And actually they were successful in doing this. They cut off the telegraph telephone lines and they also disrupted the railway line. That is that the help which was coming from Calcutta, it arrived late. So in this thing, these revolutionaries were successful in this cutting of the telegraph telephone lines and the railway lines. After doing all these things, there was a plan that they are going to attack a European club which is also known as Pahartali European Club, and then assassinate the members of this European club who were the military and government officials of the British Raj and their families. They used to reside there, and that is why there was a plan to kill all of them, because they were helping British maintain the Raj. Actually, they were ruling people of India, and this was not liked by these revolutionaries. Also, after doing all this, there was a plan that all the banks in Chittagong which are owned by the Britishers or the loyalists of the Britishers, you can say the so-called chamchas of the Britishers, those banks will be attacked, those banks will be looted, and whatever money will be collected from that loot from the bank, that will be used to finance further revolutions, further uprisings. Also, there was a plan that all the freedom fighters, many important freedom fighters of that point of time, were already in jail. So efforts will be made to release those freedom fighters from jail. So this was the plan, total plan, and this raid started in 10 in the night on 18th of April 1930. The very first attack was on the police armory in police line in Dampara. It was successfully captured by a group of revolutionaries led by Ganesh Ghosh. Then there was a separate 10-man group which was led by Loknath Bal, and it attacked the auxiliary forces army, which was which is the present day old circus house. It is a present day old circuit house, but at that point of time, it was the auxiliary forces army. So they were able to capture it, but actually they were not able to locate where the actual weapons are kept. They got many important things, because if you have successfully captured the army, many important things you will get. They got many weapons, many other things they were able to get, but the actual armory they were not able to locate. So there was a slight failure, because they didn't know where it was kept. Then while they were doing this, they have proclaimed themselves as a part of the Indian Republican Army, and they proclaimed as the Chittagong branch of the Indian Republic Army. Total 65 people took part in this raid. At the same time, a 16-member group, it captured the European Club headquarters. But what happened that on day, it was a Good Friday. That means it was a holiday, and very less number of peoples were present in the European Club. Very less number of people were present in the European Club. Also, when this attack was done by these people, the European members who were present in the club, they somehow got alerted. And when they got alerted, they alerted the troops, they called the troops, they sent a fire alarm to the troops, and obviously the troops arrived for their help. So these 16 members who attacked this European club, they were not ready for the counter attack of the troops. So therefore they escaped. So not too much assassination of the British officials can be done. So this, at this point of time, they were not able to assassinate the European officials. Now, when all the raids ended, whoever revolutionaries that were involved in this raid, they actually gathered outside the police armory. There, Surya Sen addressed all of them and took a military salute there. There he hoisted a national flag and proclaimed that we are the Provisional Revolutionary Government of Chittagong. And after doing this, these revolutionaries left the Chittagong town before sunrise could take place, and they marched towards the Chittagong rail ranges, because they was very secluded and there were a lot of places to hide in those hill ranges. And actually they were hiding in these Jalalabad hills. Now when the Britishers came to know about what has happened, there was a big attack on them. It was an attack on their sovereignty, because actually their army was being attacked. The very base of their establishment, the army, the police, they were attacked. So British were to counterattack. They were a little bit late in counterattacking, but they counterattacked, and they vigorously pursued the revolutionaries, and they found that they are hiding in these Jalalabad hills. So on finding that these revolutionaries is hiding in Jalalabad hills, they surrounded the hills by thousands of troops. It was not very difficult to find them, because you cannot live in Jalalabad hills for long. You need things to eat. You need to go to the market. So many people went to the market. So they were being traced from those places, and police found out that these people are hiding in the hills. Now, when they were surrounded, all the revolutionaries, they were surrounded by the British forces. A gunfire followed, in which 12 revolutionaries died and 80 troops of British died. Now, why more British troops died? Because actually they were at a higher position, the revolutionaries, and the police were at a lower position. So what will happen when you are a higher position? You are at a natural advantage. That is why less revolutionaries died and more troops died. But when Surya Sen saw that the number of the British army is too big, and it would be virtually impossible for him to win this gunfire, and his cartridge was also at the end. So what he did, that he organized his revolutionaries in some groups, and he dispatched them to neighboring villages. He was also able to escape at the same time. Now, when these people escaped, at that point, many people were also arrested. Some died. As I told, 12 revolutionaries died. After that, a massive crackdown of the Britishers on the revolutionaries followed, and many people were arrested. Then, despite of all this happening, some people were still didn't lose their temper. They still didn't lose their honor. They still didn't lose their commitment, and they again reorganized themselves. And on 24th of September, an attack under the leadership of Preeti Lata Vadedar was done. The members who were involved, important members, were Devi Prasad Gupta, Rajat Sen, Manoranjan Sen, Swadesh Rai, Fanindra Nandi, and Subodh Chaudhary. They were led by Preeti Lata Vadedar. They attacked the Pahar Tali European Club and killed one woman. But actually, at that point of time, what happened? That Preeti Lata Vadedar had to commit suicide. I have come to that. Then I will also talk about the role of important revolutionaries that were associated with this Chittagong Armoury Raid. The first one is the Tara Keshwar Dastidar. Now, for the first time Surya Sen was ditched, and he was actually in the jail. So what was happening? That when he was in jail, a new president of the Chittagong branch Jugantar party was appointed, and he was Tara Keshwar Dastidar. So he made an unsuccessful attempt to rescue Chittagong to rescue Surya Sen from the Chittagong jail, but he was not able to do that. And after some time, he was also arrested, and finally he was given hanged with his friend Master Da. That I will talk when Master Da. I will be discussing Surya Sen. Then we'll talk about Preetilata Vadedar. I've already told that Preetilata Vadedar led a team of 12 men, and she attacked Pahar Tali European Club. The outside hoarding of the Pahar Tali European Club displayed dogs and Indians are not allowed. But obviously, see what dogs were doing at this point of time for the Britishers. So this team was specifically instructed that in case you are caught, you have to carry cyanide, you will eat, and you will commit suicide. And actually, Preetilata Vadedar, who was dressed as a woman, she was actually trapped, not able to flow away, so she committed suicide. Okay. Now Ganesh Ghosh, he also participated in the Chittagong Armoury Raid. After the trial, he was sent to cellular jail in Port Blair in 1932. And after independence, when he was released, he became a member of the Communist Party of India. Whenever you will get an opportunity to go to Andaman and Nicobar, friends, please go to the cellular jails in the Andaman and Nicobar. Please see the light and sound show at the night there. I have been there in Port Blair twice. I have been to the cellular jail twice, and they will find the name of Ganesh Ghosh on the board there, where all the names of the revolutionaries are listed. Then we will also talk about Loknath Bal. He was a very sophisticated chap, very well mannered chap, well versed in English, very sophisticated. He was actually, he looked like an Englishman, and because of that, he took advantage. He posed himself like a British officer wearing a dress, and acted like an Englishman, and because of that, he was able to infiltrate, get inside the armory at that fateful night, at that night of 18th of April, when all this raid was conducted. And because of it, all the revolutionaries, because of him, because of Loknath Bal, all the revolutionaries were able to enter there. Especially when the Police Auxiliary Forces Army, which was the now circuit house, now the old circuit house. So when the raid was conducted there in entering, a big role was played by Loknath Bal. Then we are going to talk about Anantha Singh. He was also a major participant in the looting of the Chittagong Armoury Raid. Anant Singh was actually a student of Surya Sen. Surya Sen was a teacher by profession. I will talk about Surya Sen in the next slide. So Surya Sen saw that this Anant Singh kid, he has courage, intellect, he's a lot of mind, devotion towards his country. So obviously Anant Singh was hired by Surya Sen for the cause. Then we come to Kalpana Dutt. She is also a very well-known name. She was assigned with Preetilata Vadedar to attack on the Pahar Tali European Club in Chittagong. But during the planning stages, when she was doing having a look at the area, she was spotted and she was arrested. But after that, a bail was there and she went underground after the bail. On 17th of February 1933, when Surya Sen was encircled and he was arrested after a tip off from Netra Sen, that I will be discussing when I will be talking about Surya Sen. So there, Kalpana Dutt was also there, but somehow Kalpana Dutt managed to escape. Then we will talk about Ambika Chaudhary. Ambika Chaudhary was the most senior and experienced of the group. He was responsible for finance and procurement. Nirmal Sen, he was a friend of Master Das Surya Sen and was also actively involved in the raids. Now we are going to come look at the mastermind of this plot. His name was Surya Sen. We all know him. He was a school teacher by profession, and that is why he is popularly known as Master Da. He was heavily influenced by the nationalist ideas in 1916 when he was a student in Behrampur College and was pursuing BA there. Also, in the Chittagong branch of the Indian National Congress, he was selected as its president in the year of 1918, and by 1923 he was involved in a lot of revolutionary activities, and he spread these revolutionary activities and organizations in all parts of Chittagong. Now, one thing with which Surya Sen was very much clear, that the resources available at the perusal of Britishers are very high, and Indians were having very limited equipment. Freedom fighters were having almost no equipment. So he was convinced that an open war with the Britishers cannot give us freedom. So he said that there is a need for a secret guerrilla warfare against the colonial government. That you are hiding in the bushes, you just come out, you hit, and you go back again and hide. So this was the sort of warfare in which Surya Sen believed. He was also organized a successful raid on the treasury officer in 1923, 23rd of December, the Assam Bengal Railway at Chittagong. There was a treasury office at Chittagong, Assam Bengal Railway. So their robbery was successfully organized by him also, friends. In 16th of February 1933, Surya Sen was able to he managed to not get caught by the Britishers. But when on 16th of February 1933 he was hiding in the home of his friend Netra Sen in the Gairala village, this person Netra Sen turned out to be a traitor, and he told to the Britishers that Surya Sen is hiding in his home. Why he did this? He did it out of jealousy. He did it for money. He did it for taking the place of Surya Sen. Nobody knows, but he tipped off. Surya Sen was unfortunately arrested, and then after that, this Netra Sen was also not pardoned. He was killed by the supporters of Surya Sen. And when Surya Sen was captured, he was brutally tortured in the jail. He, along with his Tarkeshwar Dastidar friend, he both were brutally tortured. And after that, finally, they were hanged on 12th of January 1934. They achieved martyrdom on 12th of January 1934. They have done a lot of this country. No matter they were hanged, their names will always remember in our memory and the pages of history of India, the proud history of our country. So we are all thankful to them, friends. So with this video comes to an end. If you really like this video, friends, kindly like the video and please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have some doubts, some problems, some if you want to say that something is should be changed, should be amended, then please tell me through the comment section below. Also, please share these videos on your social media profile, friends, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I hope it was really helpful. So thank you for watching, friends. Have a good day. Goodbye. Take care.